What if I told you this house still remembers the sound of an axe hitting flesh? In 1892, 2 people were brutally murdered inside these walls, and the prime suspect walked free. But some say the victims never left. Visitors hear footsteps, whispers, and see shadowy figures watching from the darkness. Tonight, we are stepping inside the Lizzie Borden house, where ghosts, Jinn, and secrets still refuse to die. Imagine standing before an old Victorian house in Massachusetts, its wooden walls silent, but heavy with secrets, its windows staring like unblinking eyes into the past. This is the Lizzie Borden House, a place where history, fear, and unseen entities intertwine. In 1892, this house became infamous when Andrew and Abby Borden were brutally murdered with an axe. The town was shaken, the newspapers screamed, and suspicion fell upon Lizzie Borden, the quiet daughter whose calm eyes hid thoughts no one could read. Even though she was acquitted, the whispers never stopped, and the house itself seemed to remember every scream, every footstep, every drop of fear that soaked into its floors. As years passed, the house did not forget. Visitors who step inside today feel a strange heaviness in the air, as if unseen eyes follow them from room to room. Some say ghosts of Andrew and Abby still roam the hallways, walking slowly, searching for justice, replaying their final moments again and again. Others claim they hear the sound of footsteps upstairs, the creaking of doors, and sudden cold spots that make the skin crawl. But the stories grow darker when people speak of Jinn, invisible spirits that linger in places of violence and emotional energy. Paranormal investigators believe that such a brutal event may have attracted Jinn, feeding on fear, sorrow, and unanswered questions. Guests who stay overnight report strange dreams, whispers in unknown languages, and shadows that move even when no one is there. Some feel a presence sitting beside their bed, breathing quietly, watching them in silence. The museum now offers haunted tours, guiding visitors through the very rooms where the murders occurred. People stand beside the bed where Abby was struck, or in the sitting room where Andrew met his fate, and suddenly feel dizzy, anxious, or emotionally overwhelmed. Cameras capture unexplained orbs of light, voices recorded in empty rooms, and objects that move without being touched. Many visitors say the house feels alive, as if the spirits and Jinn are still trapped in a loop of pain and memory, unable to leave, unable to forget. Late at night, when the lights are dim and the corridors are silent, some claim to see a woman standing near the staircase, her figure faint, her expression unreadable, while others swear they hear the soft echo of a child's laughter, mixed with footsteps that fade into nothing, making it impossible to tell where the living end and the spirits begin. In the quiet town of Fall River, Massachusetts, the year 1892 arrived with calm mornings and predictable routines, but inside the Borden household, something felt uneasy long before blood touched the floor. Andrew Borden was known as a wealthy but strict man, controlling every detail of his home, counting every coin, watching every step his daughters took. The house itself was old, its corridors narrow, its rooms dimly lit even during the day, and its atmosphere heavy with silence that seemed to swallow every sound. People whispered that the house never felt warm, as if something unseen lingered in its corners, listening. Lizzie Borden lived there with her sister Emma, trapped between obedience and quiet rebellion. Servants came and went, unable to tolerate the strange mood of the home. Some claimed that at night, They heard footsteps when no one was walking, and doors that creaked as if touched by invisible hands. Old legends say that Jinn are drawn to places of tension and unresolved emotions, and the Borden house was full of both. The air carried frustration, fear, and secrets that no one dared to speak aloud. Then, on a hot August morning, the silence shattered. Andrew Borden was found on the sofa, his face destroyed by an axe, his body still as if frozen in time. Upstairs, Abby Borden lay in the guest room, struck again and again, her final moments locked forever within those walls. The house that once whispered now screamed with unseen energy. Neighbors rushed in. Police arrived, and the town gathered like moths around darkness. Lizzie Borden claimed she heard nothing, saw nothing, felt nothing. But people watched her eyes, listened to her voice, and wondered what thoughts moved behind her calm expression. Newspapers called her cold, mysterious, and dangerous. Rumors spread that she was possessed, influenced by unseen spirits, or guided by dark forces that whispered into her mind during the night. Some believed a Jinn had entered the house, feeding on family conflict, guiding a human hand to violence, then retreating back into the shadows. During the trial, witnesses spoke of strange behavior, strange dreams, strange feelings inside the house. Jurors listened, the public judged, and even after she was declared innocent, the house never escaped suspicion. People said the spirits of Andrew and Abby refused to leave, that their souls wandered the rooms where they died, searching for answers, replaying their final terror again and again. Paranormal researchers later claimed that violent deaths create spiritual echoes, and in the Borden house, those echoes never faded. Even today, visitors feel a presence in the rooms where the murders happened. Some say they hear footsteps pacing slowly, as if someone is still walking through the moments before death. Others feel sudden fear, sadness, or anger. Emotions that do not belong to them, as if ghosts and Jinn are sharing their memories with the living. The house stands as a silent witness, holding secrets that were never fully revealed, holding voices that never found peace, holding shadows that still move when the lights go out. After the murders, the Lizzie Borden house did not return to normal. The town moved on, but the house did not. It remained standing, its walls soaked with memories, its floors remembering every step, every scream, every breath taken in fear. People who entered the house years later said the atmosphere felt thick, as if the air itself carried the weight of what happened there. Even in daylight, shadows seemed deeper than they should be, and silence felt louder than sound. Neighbors claimed that at night, lights flickered in empty rooms, even when no one lived inside. Some reported hearing voices, whispering through open windows, voices that did not belong to any living person. Others said they saw figures moving behind curtains, silhouettes standing in doorways, watching the street as if waiting for something. Children, walking past the house, would suddenly feel afraid for no reason, their hearts racing as if unseen eyes were following them. Years later, when new owners lived in the house, strange events continued. Objects moved without explanation. Footsteps echoed through hallways when everyone was asleep, and doors opened slowly on their own. Some residents felt someone touching their shoulder, only to turn around and find no one there. At night, they heard slow breathing near their ears, like a presence standing close, unseen but aware. Paranormal investigators believe that such places become magnets for spirits, They say the ghosts of Andrew and Abby Borden may still wander through the rooms, trapped in the moment of their deaths, unable to understand what happened, unable to leave. Others believe that the emotional energy of the murders attracted Jinn, entities that thrive in fear and confusion. These Jinn may imitate voices, create shadows, and disturb the living to remind them that the past is not gone. Visitors today often describe the same chilling sensations. They feel sudden cold spots in certain rooms, especially near the sofa and the guest bedroom. Some experience dizziness, headaches, or overwhelming sadness, as if the house is sharing its sorrow. Cameras capture strange orbs floating in the air, voices recorded on devices when no one is speaking, and shadows that move against the walls, even when there is no light source. People who stay overnight say they cannot sleep. They hear footsteps pacing above their heads, whispers calling their names, and soft knocks on doors that no one answers. Some wake up to find marks on their arms, or feel someone sitting on their bed in the darkness. Others claim they see a woman standing at the top of the stairs, her figure faint, her face unreadable, staring silently before fading into the shadows. The house has become famous not just for its history, but for its haunting reputation. Tourists, researchers, and thrill seekers come from around the world to experience its energy, hoping to feel something, to hear something, to see something that proves the spirits and Jinn still remain. And as night falls, the house seems to awaken. Its old wood creaking like bones, its hallways echoing with memories, its darkness filled with stories that refuse to stay buried. Long after the murders faded from newspapers, another darker theory began to circulate among spiritual researchers, historians, and paranormal believers. They believed the Lizzie Borden house was not only haunted by ghosts, but also influenced by Jinn, unseen entities that exist beyond human perception, feeding on emotional energy, fear, and unresolved conflict. The Borden home had been filled with tension, silent anger, strict control, and emotional suppression, creating the perfect environment for such entities to gather. According to old spiritual traditions, Jinn are drawn to places where strong emotions remain trapped, where violence occurs, where secrets are buried, and where pain is never released. The murders of Andrew and Abby Borden were sudden, violent, and shocking, releasing a burst of fear and chaos that some believe opened a doorway for unseen beings. When blood touched the floor, when screams echoed through the walls, when the house absorbed terror, the spiritual world may have taken notice. Some believe that before the murders, the house already had a strange presence. Servants once whispered about strange dreams, sudden feelings of being watched, and unexplained sounds at night. Lizzie herself was described as distant and emotionally detached, as if something unseen was influencing her thoughts. Rumors spread that she spoke to herself, stared into empty rooms, and sometimes froze as if listening to voices no one else could hear. In towns nearby, people believed she was influenced by dark whispers, not from ghosts, but from Jinn that manipulate human minds during moments of emotional weakness. Paranormal experts later suggested that the Borden house might be a spiritual intersection, a place where human emotions created a gateway. After the murders, activity increased, as if the Jinn were no longer hidden. Guests and residents described sudden waves of anger, fear, and sadness without any logical reason. Some felt a pressure in their chest, others felt their thoughts changing, becoming darker, heavier, and more intense while inside the house. Spiritual investigators warn that jinn often imitate ghosts to confuse humans, appearing as shadow figures, creating voices, and replaying memories of the dead. In recordings taken during paranormal investigations, strange voices were captured that did not match human patterns. Some spoke in unknown tones. Some whispered in languages that could not be identified. And some repeated phrases connected to the murders. Researchers believed these could be jinn, using the house's history to frighten visitors. Shadows were seen moving independently of light sources, and temperature changes occurred suddenly, which some spiritual traditions linked to the presence of jinn passing through physical space. People who slept in the house reported intense dreams that felt too real, dreams of axes, footsteps, and silent figures standing beside their beds. Some woke up with scratches or unexplained marks, believing unseen entities had touched them. Others felt someone sitting near them, breathing slowly, watching them in the darkness, while their bodies remained frozen with fear. Spiritual scholars say jinn can influence dreams, appear in shadow form, and feed on fear, which makes haunted houses powerful environments for them. The idea that ghosts and jinn coexist in the Lizzie Borden house creates a terrifying image. Ghosts of the murdered victims wandering in confusion, and jinn lurking in the shadows, observing, manipulating, and amplifying fear. The house becomes not just a historical crime scene, but a spiritual battlefield where memories, spirits, and unseen entities overlap. Every whisper, every creak, every moving shadow could be a ghost reliving the past, or a jinn reminding the living that they are not alone in the darkness. Today, the Lizzie Borden house is no longer just a silent relic of the past. It has become a museum, a place where visitors walk into history and step directly into fear. Tour guides lead groups through narrow hallways and dimly lit rooms, telling stories in low voices, pointing to the exact spots where Andrew and Abby Borden were found. As people stand in those rooms, some feel their hearts beat faster, some feel cold air brushing their skin, and some feel an invisible weight pressing on their chest. Guests are encouraged to stay overnight, sleeping in the very rooms where tragedy occurred. Many come for thrill and curiosity, but leave with stories they never expected. Some visitors report hearing footsteps above them, slow and deliberate, as if someone is walking from room to room in the darkness. Others hear whispers calling their names, even though no one else is awake. Paranormal investigators bring cameras, recorders, and sensors, hoping to capture evidence of spirits and jinn. They place devices in the guest room, the sitting room, and the staircase, and then sit in silence, waiting. Often, their equipment records voices in empty rooms, faint whispers that answer questions, and knocks that respond intelligently. Orbs of light float across video recordings. Shadows move across walls, and temperature suddenly drops in specific areas of the house. Some guests feel touched by unseen hands, their hair pulled gently, their shoulders brushed lightly, as if someone is standing behind them. Others feel someone sitting on their bed, causing the mattress to sink, yet when they open their eyes, no one is there. Spiritual believers say these experiences could be ghosts of the Bordens, trying to communicate, while others believe jinn use these sensations to frighten humans and draw energy from their fear. Late at night, when the tour groups leave and only a few guests remain, the house feels different. The silence becomes deeper, the darkness heavier, and every creak sounds like a step. People report hearing a woman's voice softly crying near the staircase, while others hear heavy breathing in the sitting room. Some see a figure standing in the hallway, only for it to vanish when they approach. The house invites people to experience the unknown, but once inside, visitors realize they are not just walking through a museum. They are walking through a living memory where ghosts, jinn, and human fear exist together, watching every step, listening to every breath, waiting for the next person to enter the darkness. The Lizzie Borden House does not need a ghost to frighten someone. The house itself creates fear. Its narrow hallways feel like tunnels, its wooden stairs creak like whispers, and its rooms feel smaller at night, as if the walls are slowly closing in. The wallpaper, the old furniture, the dim lights, all of it feels frozen in time, trapping visitors between past and present. Psychologists say that places with violent histories can affect the human mind. When people know a brutal murder happened in a room, their imagination begins to create shadows, sounds, and movement. But in the Borden house, the fear feels deeper, as if something unseen is amplifying it. Some believe ghosts replay their last moments, and sensitive people can feel their emotions. Others believe jinn manipulate perception, creating fear by influencing thoughts and feelings. Visitors often describe a strange sensation of being watched. Even when alone, they feel eyes on their back, a presence behind them, a shadow just outside their vision. Some turn around suddenly, convinced someone is standing there, but find nothing. The house seems to play with the mind, mixing reality with imagination, memory with fear. At night, shadows stretch across the walls, forming shapes that resemble human figures. The ticking of clocks sounds louder, the wind outside sounds like whispers, and every small noise becomes a potential sign of a spirit. Guests lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to footsteps that may or may not exist, feeling their heartbeat in the silence. Spiritual believers say this is how jinn and ghosts interact with humans, through fear, through subtle signs, through the mind. A sudden chill, a whisper, a moving shadow can be enough to convince someone that they are not alone. And in a house where real murder happened, where emotions were intense, and where history is alive, the line between imagination and reality becomes thin. The Lizzie Borden House stands as a place where the past never sleeps, where spirits may walk, where jinn may linger, and where every visitor becomes part of the story, feeling the fear, hearing the whispers, sensing the shadows, and realizing that some houses do not just hold memories, they hold presence, waiting in silence for the next heartbeat in the dark. The Lizzie Borden House remains one of the most mysterious crime scenes in American history. More than a century has passed since the axe fell, yet the questions never disappeared. Was Lizzie truly innocent? Or did the house itself hide the truth forever? History recorded the trial, newspapers recorded the rumors, but the house recorded something else: fear, silence, and memories that refuse to die. Today, visitors walk through its halls. Historians study its past, paranormal investigators chase its shadows, and storytellers keep its legend alive. Whether you believe in ghosts, jinn, or psychological fear, the Lizzie Borden House stands as a reminder that some places never forget what happened inside their walls. Some houses carry stories, and some houses carry spirits. So if you enjoyed this deep and suspenseful story, don't forget to like this video. Share it with your friends who love horror and mysteries. And subscribe to the channel for more terrifying true stories, haunted places, and unseen secrets from around the world. Your support helps this channel grow and brings more dark and mysterious stories to light.